Welcome, fellow learner. We have a fascinating stack of documents today. Documents detailing a sequence of just bizarre, violent, and utterly inexplicable events that occurred across highly secure, classified locations right here in London. This deep dive isn't just a review. It's like piecing together fragments of a high-tech heist movie where the technology involved is, well, it's literally impossible, and the villains were supposed to be extinct.
Indeed. And these sources contain highly classified material, stuff compiled in the aftermath by military intelligence, or MI, chronicling a series of coordinated strikes against key British tech and military centers.
All over a very short, terrifying period.
Exactly. Our mission today is to analyze the intelligence failures. Why did conventional explanations completely fall apart? Who are the real attackers, these figures described ominously as men no longer made of flesh? And how was MI forced to handle an enemy they believed was permanently universally defeated?
And the narrative we're tracking, it involves this enigmatic figure known only in the confidential reports as the Doctor.
All right.
Him, his companion Marka Jones, and the terrifying, completely unexpected return of the Cybermen. We're focusing today with forensic detail on the specifics of the attacks, the profound security failures they exposed, the intense military investigation that followed, and the ultimate and frankly shocking resolution.
A resolution that required a weapon far older than humanity itself.
Exactly.
And the central mystery here is straightforward but terrifying, and it's what sent MI into, absolute crisis mode. Highly advanced equipment, some of it top-secret prototypes, is just vanishing into thin air. Eyewitnesses, what few there are reporting giant silver figures.
How are they doing it? How are they bypassing the best security systems in the world, leaving absolutely no trace of entry or exit?
Right.
And why do they only want these very specific, almost random items?
Right. Everything from top-grade decoding machines to consumer electronics like a new game console. That's the puzzle we absolutely have to unpack first.
So let's begin where the official timeline begins, with the first recorded incident, which occurred at the Megatech Center. When we look at the target profile, we see immediate contradictions. This wasn't a military base, but it was absolutely a high-value target for a specific kind of theft.
Right. It was the biggest and best computer and electronics store in Britain, located right in London's West End. All glass and steel, and protected by what the sources explicitly call the finest alarm system in the world.
And analyzing the security breach here is crucial, isn't it? Because it immediately establishes the nature of the threat they were dealing with.
Oh, absolutely. The execution of this raid, it suggests a level of technological superiority that should have instantly screamed alien intervention to anyone looking at the evidence.
It happened at 3 a.m.
And the sources meticulously described the air right in front of the senior night watchman, a man named Trevor, as shimmering.
Shimmering. Not smoke, not gas.
No, nothing like that. It's a signature consistent with matter transmission or maybe a localized temporal displacement bubble, a portal, basically.
And out of this shimmer materializes a metallic man-shaped figure. The report notes it was significantly bigger than any human encased in steel armor with a terrifyingly blank mask.
And the crest, the handle-like attachments on the head, it's an immediate signal for anyone familiar with the Cybermen's design from past incursions. A dead giveaway.
What's truly bizarre, though, and what confused investigators for days, was the loot list.
Yeah, this is a great point. They shattered display cases, but they didn't just grab everything. It wasn't indiscriminate.
No, they took things ranging from bog-standard desktop PCs, presumably for their components, to the latest MP3 player, and most critically, a new games console. Why?
Well, the hypothesis within MI after the fact was that these Cybermen were cut off from their own advanced supply chain. They needed reliable, high-speed CPUs and common modular Earth interfaces to adapt their stolen alien technology.
So the games console likely offered the fastest, most flexible processing power available just sitting on a shelf.
Exactly. Off-the-shelf parts for a broken alien war machine.
And the way they took it all, the mechanism of transport, just confirms this impossible technology.
It does. The items were carefully stacked inside that original circle of shimmering light. It strongly suggests instantaneous, organized transport right out of the building.
So the idea of this being a gang of highly professional robbers, which is what the initial report claimed, is just ludicrous.
Well, that cover-up attempt ran completely counter to the physical evidence, and we have to look at why MI chose that route. The report called it a well-organized robbery, completely ignoring the central puzzle,
which was the alarm system. The finest in the world, it never triggered.
And was later found in perfect working order. There was no physical breach, no broken lock, no shattered window. This failure suggests the attackers didn't bypass the alarm, they simply appeared inside the protected space.
Rendering all conventional defenses completely useless.
Utterly. And the human cost confirms the extraordinary violence of these things. Trevor, the night watchman, and his assistant Kevin were killed.
And the sources detail their demise. They were struck by energy pulses of scarlet light, flashing from wrist-mounted guns.
Right. The postmortem was chillingly vague, citing massive shock to the system caused by a force of unknown origin.
Let's just dwell on that for a sec. Massive shock to the system.
It suggests an energy weapon that operates on a bioelectrical level, completely overwhelming the nervous system. Not a bullet, not a burn. It's instantaneous and just devastating.
And Kevin, before he died in the hospital, kept muttering about silver giants.
That key piece of testimony, the true nature of the assailants, was, of course, strictly omitted from official accounts and sealed away.
But the attackers weren't just after consumer electronics. This pattern of extreme security breach, followed by targeted theft, was immediately repeated, and it escalated the threat level significantly.
It did. The second attack targeted the Ministry of Science in Whitehall.
This was a seismic shift in target. This was a secret research lab, described as being so secure that it was often described as a giant safe.
Its defense relied not on glass and alarms, but on physical hardening and isolation.
Yeah.
And yet, the same instantaneous breach occurred.
And the loot here was pure espionage gold. If Megatech provided the brains, the ministry provided the intelligence capability.
Exactly. Stolen equipment included highly secret items, top-grade surveillance gear, and, critically, a state-of-the-art decoding machine.
And again, the theft was absolute. No trace of the equipment found in the wreckage, which confirms the Cybermen's need to build a secure, communication-capable base.
What's more, most of the night staff were left dead. The sole survivor, after witnessing the attack, was found babbling incoherently about giant silver figures stalking among the ruins.
And MI's response was immediate and ruthless. The individual was immediately moved to a secure sanatorium.
This action really emphasizes MI's priority, suppressing not just the physical evidence, the sudden disappearance of highly advanced tech, but suppressing the eyewitness testimony of the attacker's impossible nature.
They were willing to sacrifice the mental health and freedom of a witness just to maintain the official cover story.
And here's where the crisis truly hits home for military intelligence. The attackers escalated again, moving from a consumer store and a secret lab to an actual, strictly controlled military installation, the Chadwick Green R&D Center.
This was an assault on the core of British defense technology.
And the attack on Chadwick Green provided MI with irrefutable, albeit terrifying, ground truth on the Cybermen's tactical superiority. Sentry Dexter Hansen, a combat veteran, spotted a giant silver figure already inside the gates at 3:30 a.m.
Already inside.
Already inside. Hansen's immediate trained reaction was to engage, but his automatic rifle fire had no effect.
Just bounced off.
The Cybermen simply absorbed the rounds. This is a critical finding. Standard military small arms were useless, and the infiltration was coordinated. A second figure appeared, signaling a tactical strike, not just a random scouting mission.
The base's response was immediate and comprehensive.
Yeah.
A general alarm blared, armed men emerged. But the source material makes it terrifyingly clear that a hail of bullets continued to have zero effect whatsoever.
None. Soldiers were ruthlessly shot down by those scarlet energy pulses.
And the final, devastating blow showcased their coordinated firepower. An armored car with a heavy-mounted machine gun, a weapon designed to stop troop movements, was targeted.
It was hit by simultaneous energy blasts from both metallic figures and just exploded in flames.
So that confirmed it. Invulnerable to small arms and overwhelming firepower against armored vehicles, the standard military defense playbook was completely useless.
Following this devastating, humiliating raid on their own high-security facility, military intelligence had no choice but to convene a crisis conference.
Right. And this took place at Chadwick Green, even as construction crews were hastily beginning to rebuild.
Including the addition of a new, highly fortified underground security vault, built from thick layers of steel and concrete, a desperate, almost primitive response to a threat that just bypassed steel and concrete entirely.
We need to focus on the leadership driving this panicked response. First, we have Major Tom Burton, a massive figure, former boxer, rugby player.
Outwardly, he appears heavy, maybe a bit dull, but the confidential reports describe him as possessing a rugby thug's physical presence with a brain like Einstein.
He's the old guard. Power and ruthless intellect applied to Military problem solving.
Exactly. And then there's Captain Sheila Sarandon. Younger, fiercely ambitious, a severe beauty. Sarandon represents the modern military analyst. She's data-driven, quick to synthesize, and acutely aware she has to be smarter and faster than her male peers to succeed in that environment.
And Sarandon, despite being the subordinate, is the one who connects the critical historical data.
She is. She scathingly points out their past intelligence record isn't brilliant regarding this enemy, reminding the room that they failed to anticipate or contain the last major incursion.
That admission of past failure has to be painful for MI leadership, but it's absolutely necessary.
It is. She then cites the critical intelligence from that previous disaster, detailing that the Cybermen had established a hidden base inside the old Porchwood Tower on Canary Wharf.
This is the intellectual breakthrough. The new attacks are mirroring the old pattern.
And this connects directly to understanding the current threat's technological deficit. Sarandon reminds Burton that after that main battle, when the Void was sealed, there was a small breakout that stole vital alien equipment.
Specifically, advanced spying gear and, crucially, an alien teleportation device.
Exactly. This explains the shimmering and the instantaneous theft of goods. They weren't building this tech, they were patching up unreliable stolen relics.
So the new threat assessment now crystallizes. The sequential theft of all this specialized equipment, CPUs from Megatech, surveillance from the Ministry, R&D tools from Chadwick Green, it all suggests a massive construction operation is being planned.
Sarandon fears this is the precursor to another invasion.
But let's pause on Burton's perspective. He's the one with the Einstein brain, and he focuses immediately on damage control and containment.
But containment of panic, not the enemy. He rejects warning the public. He knows the collective memory of the last invasion is still raw, and nationwide panic would cripple the government. His priority is stability over disclosure.
So their containment strategy is comprehensive and legally powerful. They implement a strict information embargo using D-notices and the Official Secrets Act. We should probably clarify what a D-notice is for anyone unfamiliar.
Sure. A D-notice, or a Defense Advisory Notice, is a formal request from the UK government to news editors not to publish or broadcast items of national security significance. It's not legally enforceable like a court injunction, but it carries immense weight.
It relies on cooperation between the state and the media, under the threat of severe consequences under the Official Secrets Act.
Right. By issuing these, they're effectively silencing all mainstream media outlets from reporting anything truthful about giant silver figures.
And they back this up with generous compensation for silence to the families of the casualties, fictionalizing the deaths as training accidents or, a professional robbery gone wrong.
Their key strategy is to dismiss any accurate internet chatter, the real evidence gathered by eyewitnesses, as coming from wacky conspiracy nuts. They are relying on widespread societal skepticism to protect their secret.
It's a cynical strategy, prioritizing governmental order over public truth, but one born from desperation.
Completely. They're trying to fight a high-tech war using low-tech psychological operations.
And this desperation really comes to the surface during the conference. Sarandon, maybe sarcastically, maybe hopefully, suggests putting out an alert for the skinny bloke in a pinstripe suit who works out of an old blue police box.
The doctor, codenamed in confidential reports as an unpredictable yet incredibly powerful asset.
And the irony is that Burton, the old-school military man, views this as a necessary measure. He knows MI is facing an intelligence failure that has cost them lives and top-secret tech they can't even begin to understand.
He takes the suggestions seriously, viewing this eccentric, quasi-mythical figure as the only person who might possess the unique knowledge to counter the Cybermen.
So MI is officially hunting for a time-traveling alien hero in a police box. That tells you everything about the scale of the threat.
And while military intelligence is scrambling to put out this covert alert, the Doctor and Martha are arriving back on Earth.
Right. They materialize the tortoise in the Royal Hope Hospital car park after what sounds like a characteristically eventful field trip.
Feeding apatosauruses and then narrowly escaping a T-Rex, apparently.
Of course. So Martha's ready to get back to normal life, maybe grab a coffee, see a movie. But the Doctor, the moment the TARDIS lands, he's already registering strange readings.
He notes energy spikes, transmit signatures, and the more complicated terms, cellular dissemination and matter transmission.
Which are, let's be clear, scientific ways of describing teleportation.
Exactly. Breaking down matter at a molecular level and reassembling it elsewhere instantaneously. The Doctor immediately states that such technology is impossible for Earth at this time, so an alien origin is undeniable.
And crucially, he initially dismisses the idea of a Cybermen return. He believed, and the reports mention a moment of profound sadness here, that they were all sucked into the void and the dimensional gap is sealed forever.
We have to understand the significance of the void. In previous conflicts, the void was used. It's a space between dimensions and nothingness. When it was sealed, it created a permanent, impenetrable barrier.
And anything that passed through it, including the entire Cybermen army from the parallel dimension, was contaminated by void energy.
And it got dragged back when the seal snapped shut. So the Doctor's initial logic is sound. If the void is sealed forever, the Cybermen are gone forever. His emotional attachment to that sealing makes his technological assumption tragically flawed.
What's fascinating is the almost immediate confirmation that the enemy is aware of him. Simultaneously, in a vast, shadowy dome base, the Millennium Dome 3 Cybermen, led by a cyber leader, are monitoring their equipment.
And they note the massive power drain they're routing from the London grid, and they acknowledge the unreliability of their stolen alien teleportation device. The cyber engineer is constantly having to patch things up.
Their operational strategy is chillingly clinical. They anticipate the Doctor's return because of his perceived weakness.
His emotional attachment to this planet. They've calculated his behavior, knowing he will return to check on the welfare of Earth, and they are just waiting for him to step into their trap.
The Doctor, oblivious to this, begins his own investigation. He doesn't go to MI headquarters. He does what any great investigator of the 21st century does.
He heads to Nick's internet cafe.
Exactly. He quickly processes the vague, heavily edited official reports about the 3 raids. He confirms this supports his teleportation hypothesis.
But the real powerful breakthrough comes from the fringes of human society, the very sources MI was so desperate to dismiss.
He accesses the conspiracy websites, the ones Major Burton was so eager to disregard as the ravings of walkie nuts.
And those nuts were right. The Doctor finds immediate consensus across the unedited testimony on the web. Giant silver figures were cited at all 3 raids.
The sites correctly detailed that authorities were suppressing the news using D notices and the Official Secrets Act, even moving witnesses to secure mental hospitals to silence them.
The civilian public, in this instance, held the truth that MI desperately tried to bury.
And the narrative just hinges on this moment of reunion at the hospital canteen. Martha, frustrated by the Doctor's assertion that the Cybermen couldn't possibly be here because the void is sealed, suggests a simple, elegant solution.
Unless they were here all along.
That's the pivotal moment. It triggers the Doctor's immediate, frantic realization. These Cybermen were homemade.
Right. They were created at the Torchwood base using purely Earth materials, copper, plastic, steel, Earth computing components, before the void closed.
This single, crucial difference means they were never contaminated by the void material that sucked the main army back. They are a small, desperate, technologically inferior, stay-behind group.
And the Doctor correctly deduces there must only be a handful of them, maybe a half-dozen, scattered across London, struggling to maintain their technology using stolen Earth parts. This dramatically shifts the threat level from planetary invasion to desperate, contained sabotage.
So the Cybermen, having calculated the Doctor's return, were already tracking his unique double heartbeat signature to the Royal Hope car park. They launch an immediate attempt to capture both him and Martha.
But their alien technology fails them at the critical moment.
This is a vital tactical detail. The reliability issues of their stolen equipment just come to a head. Their teleportation system is clearly on the blink.
The sources describe the Cybermen just disappearing mid-struggle, flickering out of existence. It's an embarrassment for them, but a narrow escape for the Doctor, who now understands the full extent of their technical limitations.
And this near miss is immediately followed by the calculated move from military intelligence. Captain Sarandon, flanked by heavily armed military police, arrests the Doctor in the hospital canteen.
But the Doctor, having solved the initial mystery and realizing he needs the full resources of MI to strike back, he allows himself to be taken. It's the fastest route to the command center.
He doesn't go quietly, though. He immediately takes strategic control of the interaction.
Oh, completely. He deliberately provokes an aggressive MP and in a flash disarms him, asserts complete physical and intellectual dominance before calmly handing the weapon back.
He establishes himself as an ally, not a prisoner, before they even leave the hospital, demanding that they locate Martha immediately.
And once he's in Major Burton's office at Chadwick Green, the Doctor lays out the entire situation with staggering confidence and analytical speed. He immediately corrects their fundamental error.
No, it is not a new full-scale invasion. That is impossible.
He clarifies the true threat. It's a small, stay-behind group, maybe 3 active and 5 in reserve. He uses the stolen equipment list, the consumer CPUs, the decoding machines, to prove they're focused on repair and resource gathering, not mass assault.
And he immediately deduces their true motive, which is rooted in their desperation and technological inferiority.
Conquest is impossible with such limited forces, so their singular goal is to use the Doctor's unique expertise in time and space travel to open up the gateway to the void again and bring back their cyber army.
They need a lifeline, and he is that lifeline.
But while the Doctor is successfully debriefing MI and taking command, the Cybermen strike again. Martha, waiting by the now towed-away TARDIS, is captured.
Right. A Cyberman, unable to find the primary target, simply settled for Martha. She's just yanked away via a sudden burst of teleportation.
And PC Jim Wilkie, the unfortunate witness, has to file a report detailing a woman vanishing into thin air in a busy car park.
The location breakthrough comes from a surprisingly simple piece of consumer tech, proving the Doctor's earlier hunch. He remembers Martha's mobile phone and calls it.
Knowing it's likely crushed or dropped, before the line dies, she manages to say a single frantic syllable, "I'm in the dough!"
And that's the moment the intelligence community gets its target.
The Doctor immediately points to the map, the Millennium Dome. He instantly connects the dots. It's the perfect hidden base for a small, power-hungry group.
Big, deserted, lots of power outlets. And conveniently close to Canary Wharf, the site of their previous base.
It gives them familiarity and easy access to high-voltage lines. And inside the dome, Martha confirms the Doctor's analysis. She witnesses the cyber leader reviving 5 additional Cybermen from hibernation.
Bringing the potential fighting force to 8.
And the cyber leader, viewing her through purely functional terms, confirms Martha is a useful hostage to ensure the Doctor's compliance.
And in a chilling display of their clinical mindset, the cyber leader promises to kill both of them regardless of the Doctor's success. The Cybermen don't understand negotiation, or mercy, or honor.
They only understand leverage and elimination once utility is depleted.
As the Doctor predicted, the Cybermen launched a focused counterattack immediately following his arrest, just to secure their leverage. 6 Cybermen teleported precisely into Chadwick Green.
And this unit, 6 strong, shows operational confidence and accurate intelligence regarding the Doctor's location.
This engagement serves as a brutal and costly demonstration of the enemy's material superiority and the complete failure of conventional military doctrine.
The Cybermen completely ignore conventional rifle, and sidearm fire bullets literally bounced off their metallic bodies and continued their advance, ruthlessly firing energy blasts that immediately dropped soldiers.
So Major Burton, recognizing the immediate and complete failure of small arms, immediately shifts to the only thing he has left that might work: experimental ground-to-ground rocket launchers.
These were weapons designed to take out a main battle tank using high-explosive-shaped charged shells. And they were still experimental, not meant for close-quarters infantry support.
The battlefield shifts instantly, though. It shows the military's capacity to learn even under extreme duress. The first rocket team successfully destroys 1 Cyberman in a spectacular explosion.
It's their first taste of success, but it comes at a price.
Because the Cybermen are rigid, but they're not stupid. They learn quickly. The second rocket team is preparing to fire, but the Cybermen coordinate.
They are immediately wiped out by simultaneous, targeted energy fire from the remaining 4 Cybermen who destroy the weapon and the crew instantly. This demonstrates their tactical, coordinated efficiency.
The battle becomes this cycle of agonizing, costly trades. The third team, with a third launcher, manages to destroy a 4th Cyberman, but is also killed in the exchange.
So despite neutralizing 2/3 of the attacking force, the cost in human life is staggering, and they are quickly running out of launchers and trained crews.
This is where Major Burton's legendary status is cemented. The former rugby player shows incredible physical strength and courage. Seeing the last usable launcher abandoned and the shell pack lying open in the kill zone,
He dashes into the open, ignoring the enemy fire, to retrieve the heavy equipment himself.
and it's at this moment the Doctor, witnessing the desperate bravery, joins the fight. Captain Sarandon attempts to help her Major, but the Doctor races ahead, recognizing the Major needs the steadiness of a trained partner.
The sources detail him assisting Burton, steadying the cumbersome launcher for the Major, who is struggling to raise it while taking fire.
The climax is tragic. It marks the immense human cost of this return. The Doctor fires the final weapon at the moment the fifth Cyberman comes around the corner.
And both the Cyberman and the launcher explode simultaneously. The Cyberman is destroyed, but the collateral blast is fatal for Major Burton, whose body lies slumped across the shattered remains of the weapon.
A huge loss for MI. The man with the Einstein brain dies trying to use brute force.
And in the confusion and disruption, the cyber leader, the sixth attacker, appears. This demonstrates their cold, tactical focus. He bypasses a shocked Captain Sarandon and walks directly toward the Doctor.
And delivers his final, tactical ultimatum. Your female associate is our prisoner. Come to us there and help us or she will die.
Having secured the Doctor's attention and cooperation through the hostage, the cyber leader teleports away, having achieved his primary objective with the loss of 5 subordinates. The message is clear. The battle was just a diversion.
The real action, the attempt to reopen the void, is waiting at the Millennium Dome.
So Captain Sarandon, shaken by Burton's death and the scale of the loss, her facility is in ruins, her commanding officer is dead, and the enemy has escaped, is ready to launch a full-scale army assault on the dome.
But the Doctor refuses to let her.
He understands the Cybermen's rigid logic. He argues, correctly, that they will immediately kill Martha if they sense the slightest hint of military movement. He needs Sarandon's cooperation.
And he needs access to the one thing that can solve the crisis without further human loss, the TARDIS.
Which, having been towed deep underground into that new security vault, is his only viable tool. He argues he needs it to save Martha and dispose of the remaining Cybermen without any more loss of life.
Sarandon, however, is MI. She demands absolute assurance that he won't use the powerful alien machine to betray humanity or reopen the threat.
And the critical detail he provides is a partial truth that seals the deal. He confirms that he cannot reopen the Void Gateway even to save Martha because the gate they want me to open is closed forever.
This statement, confirming the impossibility of the Cybermen's ultimate goal, convinces Sarandon that his motivations are aligned with humanity's defense, despite his eccentric methods. She grants him access.
And with access granted, the Doctor makes what he calls a very short trip, materializing the TARDIS inside the vast emptiness of the Millennium Dome. He immediately begins this deceptive setup, working at furious speed.
He connects the TARDIS console, a complex nexus of temporal and spatial technology, to the Cybermen's unreliable teleportation equipment via a chaotic spider's web of power cables.
And he claims he needs to boost the power to reach the immense energy required to breach the void. The Cybermen, supremely confident in their clinical leverage over him, accept this explanation.
The cyber leader even reveals they've established a force field around the dome, protecting them from the approaching army. They are certain the Doctor is working for them.
And the clinical, emotionless nature of the Cybermen is their ultimate tactical vulnerability. They are too rigid, too dependent on logic to anticipate treachery.
Especially not from their hostage. Martha, however, is human. She realizes the Doctor's true plan, that he intends to use the very equipment he's building against them.
This is Martha's defining moment of action. She dashes to the force field generator, the system protecting the base from Sarandon's army, and kicks it, ripping out a crucial cable. She secures the tactical advantage for MI.
Her guard Cyberman reacts, firing its wrist-mounted weapon. It misses Martha, hitting the generator directly.
And the generator explodes violently, disabling the dome's external defenses just as the army is approaching the perimeter. Martha has proven her utility not just as a medical professional, but as a quick-thinking combat asset.
So the Doctor, having secured the opening and realizing Martha has bought them precious time, pulls a huge antique lever on the TARDIS console. The system groans, and a massive glowing portal appears, the size and shape of the TARDIS door itself.
The Cybermen recognize the technological signature instantly, but their cyber engineer immediately notes the fatal flaw. He monitors the energy readings and shouts, "This gateway does not lead to the void."
The cyber leader demands to know where it leads, realizing the Doctor's betrayal.
And the Doctor reveals his ultimate, highly imaginative temporal weapon. The portal leads to the exact point in space and time where he and Martha had just left the prehistoric jungle.
What emerges from the glowing gateway is colossal, utterly terrifying, and instantly lethal. A Tyrannosaurus Rex, jaws snapping violently into the 21st century.
The temporal weapon is devastatingly effective against their rigid planning. The T-Rex immediately bites off the head of the cyber engineer, the unit responsible for fixing their unstable tech, and drags the second Cyberman back through the rapidly vanishing portal.
As the Doctor later quipped, That Cyberman is now scattering components across the Cretaceous period, which should keep the archaeologists guessing for centuries.
The final defeat belongs entirely to the Doctor and his quick thinking. The cyber leader, witnessing the chaos and betrayal, fires immediately at him.
But the Dr. Ducks wrenches the main power cable free from the console, which is now surging with the immense temporal energy needed to rip open that gateway.
And he thrusts the live surging cable into the cyber leader's chest unit. The resulting electrical surge, far beyond the capabilities of Earth's power grid, supercharged by the TARDIS connection, electrocuting the metallic figure completely.
The cyber leader crashes to the ground, its systems shut down, stone cold dead. The threat is neutralized.
And Captain Sarandon and her soldiers, having gained entry thanks to Martha's actions, arrive shortly thereafter. She confirms that military intelligence owes the Doctor and Martha a profound debt and grants them immediate, unrestricted permission to leave.
The TARDIS, with its signature wheezing, groaning sound, fades away, leaving MI to face the unimaginable task of cleaning up a destroyed dome. 5 dead Cybermen and 1 very confused, very large dinosaur.
So, we've seen how initial intelligence gaps, specifically the fatal assumption that the Cybermen were fully gone due to the void closure, and a reliance on conventional technology almost led to a disaster far greater than the few deaths suffered. The crucial shift was the Doctor's realization that the enemy was not alien invaders in mass, but rather a small, desperate, technologically inferior stay-behind group relying heavily on stolen Earth equipment and an unstable, aging alien teleportation device.
And the key differentiator was that the Cybermen correctly identified his emotional attachment to this planet as a weakness, but they incorrectly quantified it as a lever they could use to force compliance.
Exactly. They never accounted for the sheer scope of his imagination, which allowed him to create a temporal trap instead of a dimensional portal.
And of course, we can't forget the critical piece of raw intelligence, Martha's single-syllable "doe" that allowed the location to be confirmed in the nick of time.
Major Burton was indeed brave, receiving a likely posthumous Victoria Cross for his actions, sacrificing himself against a technologically superior foe. But the intelligence failure has profound, lingering consequences.
Right. Remember the inventory. The Cybermen successfully stole top-grade surveillance equipment, state-of-the-art decoding machines, modular consumer CPUs, and R&D components for their initial plan.
And they also employed their compromised alien teleportation technology throughout the raids, which was integrated with the TARDIS systems during the climax.
So now that the Cybermen are defeated and the battle is secured, much of that material, the sophisticated stolen Earth tech, the destroyed alien gear, the wreckage of the unstable teleportation machine, it must all still be scattered around the Millennium Dome ruins.
Military intelligence secured the final, dead cyber leader and dealt with the T-Rex. But the immediate chaos suggests a messy cleanup.
Which leaves us with a truly provocative thought for you, the learner. Given the nature of the components stolen and employed, what unstudied and potentially dangerous artifacts might military intelligence be scrambling to recover in those heavily compromised dome ruins? And what future homegrown threats might the incomplete reverse-engineered secrets of that stolen alien teleportation technology and those decoding machines eventually enable if they fall into the wrong human hands?